everyone, we're doing experiment 2 in the module 2 labs, the aerobic respiration in beans lab. So the materials that you need is you need 6 of your beakers, which is all the beakers, the 250 milliliter beakers in your lab kit. This is where, like I said, writing on it with the dry erase marker comes in handy because I just marked out whatever I did in experiment 1, and now I relabeled the beakers. So make sure all of your beakers are labeled before you begin the experiment. You should have 150 count pinto beans and 150 count kidney beans. You should have a pipette. There are 6 of these medicine cups that came in your lab kit. There is a bromethyl blue solution, and it's fittingly enough blue. And then you should have this paraffin. Mine did not come large enough, so I am actually going to be using, oh my gosh, I forgot the name of that paper. Plastic wrap. So I'm going to actually be using plastic wrap instead of the parafilm. Hopefully yours comes with more, but if it doesn't, you can use plastic wrap, so it'll still work. The materials that you have to provide is, tap water from your tap and some paper towels and rubber bands. The rubber bands are going to hold the plastic over the top of the beakers. So starting with this, you label your beakers. I have one beaker labeled soaked pinto, another beaker labeled soaked kidney. Then you have 2 dry beakers for each one, and then you have no to act as the controls. And whenever you look at your procedure, you're going to fill the soaked beakers to 200 milliliters of tap water, warm tap water, and then you're going to transfer 50 pinto beans into the pinto beaker and 50 kidney beans into the kidney beaker. You're going to let those soak overnight, so for 24 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and add my beans. Hey everyone, so it has been 24 hours since we soaked the pinto and kidney beans. So now we are on part 4, or step 4 in your aerobic respiration in beans lab. And I have already taken the water out of the soaked beans, and I have my beakers ready for this next part. So we're going to put the soaked pinto and the soaked kidney beans onto a paper towel. Just like that. And I've already labeled them, so that way you know, okay, these are my soaked pinto, these are my soaked kidney beans. And then we are going to, we've already labeled the beakers, and then we're going to get moist paper towels and put them at the bottom of all 250, at the bottom of each beaker. Now it says several layers, but really you just need to kind of just fold it over once, and this one's probably even too big, so I would even take it and kind of rip it in half, because you're gonna want to put it in there like that. So I'm gonna go and soak my paper towels really quick, and then I'll come back. Okay, so I've gone ahead and pre-soaked my paper towels, and I'm just going to go ahead and place the moistened paper towels into the bottom of each beaker. And it doesn't have to be pretty or anything. So I'm just kind of folding them over so that way they'll fit. And you don't want it to be too thick. Whoops. Getting it on my paper there. And it seems a little bit silly to put it into the beakers that aren't going to have any beans, but you know, like you learned in Module 1, you have to have controls in an experiment because that's what you compare your results to. So if you're doing an experiment and you compare it to the control and your experiment looks exactly like the control, then you know that your experiment didn't work. So that's why we do it this way, so we can see, did something actually happen? Okay, so I've got my moistened paper towels in there, and now we're just going to put the beans in. So you just take all of your pre-soaked beans, and you have 50, so I'm just going to go ahead and put those in there. And then I'm going to put my soaked kidney beans into the soaked kidney bean beaker. Okay. Making sure I'm following the directions correctly. And then you're going to get your dry beans out. And put the dry beans into the dry kidney beaker. So there's my dry beans going into the dry beaker. And then you don't want to put anything, like I said, because the no beans beaker is your control. All right, so these are the dry beans. They should not have been soaked. They were sitting in your bags. They were left over from when you soaked the 50. Okay. So now they want you to dispense 4 milliliters of bromethyl blue solution into each of 6 medicine cups. So remember, your medicine cups were these little ones right here. And then you're gonna just put a cup inside each beaker. And then what you'll do is you're gonna seal them. So I'm gonna get my rubber bands that I had, and I'm gonna come back whenever I have all that. Okay, so I'm back. I've got my wrap and rubber bands now. So this next part, you're gonna need to have a pipette because your medicine cup only goes to 5, and you just need 4, and you don't want to put 5 in there. So you're gonna take a pipette, and you'll see along the side of the pipette, it actually gives you measurements, and it goes all the way up to 3 milliliters at this top line right here. Now you don't want to get any solution into the bulb part. So sometimes it can be hard, depending on how big your bottle is, to get all the way up to the 3. So you can just do 2 and 2. Either way it'll work. So that's what I'm going to go ahead and do. I'm going to take pipette and draw up. And it can be hard to read, so I'm going to get it a little closer to my face. Yeah, so I was actually only able, because this bottle is really small, I was only able to get it up to the 1.5. So I'm going to go ahead and squeeze it out to get to the 1. And then I'm just going to drop it into my cup. Two. 3. 4. Okay, so there's 4 milliliters. And then I'm just gonna set that cup inside the beaker. Don't let it spill. So it should just be sitting on top of the beans. And then I'm going to add my parafilm. Yep, my story of my life didn't work. So here's, I'm just going to use cling wrap, which it'll work just fine. Okay, and you're going to create a seal around it. And then rubber band. Okay, and that's it. And so you're just going to do that to all 6 of the beakers, and then you'll let it sit for probably about 3 hours, but you need to observe it every 30 minutes. So this one's going to take a little while. So make sure that you don't just walk away and come back after 3 hours. Like, you got to observe it at 30-minute intervals. Okay. Oh, one more thing. You do not need to get a new pipette for each time that you do this, because you're dipping it in the same solution, so one pipette is fine. Okay, so I have placed all of my bromethyl blue medicine cups into each beaker. Definitely make sure that you also put it into the no pinto and no kidney bean beaker, because if you leave the bromethyl blue solution out, it'll start to change colors, and you don't want that. So definitely seal it, even though there's no beans in it. Seal it in the beakers, because this is your control. So this is what you're going to be comparing your color change to. So in 30 minutes, you're going to be looking at, okay, did the color change in these beakers here compared to the control? And you're just going to be looking for a color change, not in the beans, but in the bromethyl blue solution. Now, I know that whenever you pipette it out, it is kind of greenish. So for your initial, I don't have my pencil with me, just a second. For your initial color in your table, for 0 minutes, you're just going to put, green, blue all the way across. And then in 30 minutes, you're going to come back and check it again. And there's just every 30 minutes until you get to 100 and, oh goodness, sorry. Until you get to 180 minutes. So in, I can't count today, in 3 hours. After that, then you're going to leave it sitting for 24 hours and come back and see what it looks like after 24 hours. So yeah, this lab is going to take some time. So make sure you've got, that chunk of time dedicated, and you can go do other stuff. It's not like you got to sit there and stare at it, because that's silly. Keep it in a warm, dry place. I'm just going to probably leave it sitting out here on my kitchen table, but if you have to move it to another room, that's fine too. It's not going to hurt it. And so each time you come back, so every 30 minutes that you come back, you just write down what is the color of the bromethyl blue solution, not the beans. Okay, the beans are doing something, which you'll have to figure out in your lab. And then you have it sealed, because you don't want outside air or carbon dioxide or anything like that interfering with the process inside the beaker. So they're all sealed, and that's it. And after that, after 24 hours, you'll be done. Now listen, after the 3rd hour, you don't have to check it. You don't have to check it every 30 minutes. Leave it for 24 hours and then come back. So you don't have to stay up all night checking it every 30 minutes. All right.